In today's video, I'm going to share with you the 5 things I like about the Porsche 718 Spyder and a few that I don't. Quick shout out to Mark, the owner of the 718 Spyder, for sharing images of his car and allowing me to do this review. Hey, I'm Andy, a high-performance car enthusiast with a passion for well-engineered automobiles. I love to drive mountain roads with like-minded enthusiasts, along with sharing driving tips and techniques in my Porsche GT3 RS and BMW M2 CS. The 718 Spyder is essentially a GT4, just without the top. So think of a convertible GT4. That's pretty cool. It has the same flat 6 engine, has 414 horsepower, 309 pound-feet of torque, does 0 to 60 in 4.2 seconds. That's for the manual transmission, and it has a top speed of 187 miles an hour. The front wheels are 8.5 by 20 inch wheels. The rears are 11 inches by 20. The front tires are a 245/35 and the rears are a 295/30. So there is quite a bit of rubber on the road, but you can upgrade those. You can easily go 255/305. You may even be able to go 265/305, but I know you could step up at least 10 millimeters. And in capable hands, this car will drive just like a GT4. This particular car is also outfitted with Escort radar and APL laser jammers. Now, why anyone would need those, I have no clue. Okay, so let's get started with the 5 things that I like about the 718 GT4 Spyder. The first one, it's a convertible. That's pretty cool. The ability, especially driving in the mountains where you are in between these gorges and you can look up at the trees and just having the wind rushing, I think that's awesome. Now, granted, everyone may not live in an area where you can have a convertible, where a convertible makes sense, I should say. But I think if you're in a place, even if you can only use it 6 months out of the year, I think that's pretty cool. The color of this car is called Oak Green Metallic. So this, in the Porsche world, we call this paint to sample. So Porsche essentially has their standard colors. Then they have metallic colors, and the standard are free. The metallic cost about $700 to $800. Then they usually have a handful of special colors that are probably in the $3,500 range. Then they have what's called paint to sample, and those run, there's probably about 200 colors, and they run, for this particular car, $12,830. That's a lot of money for paint, but if you do want to stand out, you want something a little more bespoke, then that's the way to go. And I can tell you, this car in that color was a looker, and it got a lot of attention wherever we went. Third thing I like about this are the seat inserts in this car. So the seat inserts are called Federal Gray, and they're from a company called P1 Designs. I'll put a link down in the description for P1 Designs. And these particular inserts really give this car that nice classic Porsche look. The fourth thing I like about this car is the engine. It's a flat 6 naturally aspirated engine that produces 414 horsepower and 309 pound-feet of torque. No turbos here. So the engine in this car is sweet. And the 5th thing is it's a manual transmission. Now, some of you may argue, oh, hey, PDK manual, the gearing is so tall in the manual. Let's forget about that whole gearing discussion, right? I think for this car, as a convertible, and driving it in the mountains or just tooling around town is a perfect combination. Now, if I thought I was going to be using the Spyder on track a lot, maybe I would get a PDK. But if I was going to do that, I wouldn't even get a Spyder to begin with. I would just go get the GT4 in a PDK if I was going to be driving spirited all the time, especially on track. Okay, so now let me talk about the few things I don't like about the 718 Spyder. And the first one is kind of like the first one before, is the manual convertible top. I do like that it's convertible. It's just the manual convertible top, right? You know, it's not like a Boxster, some other convertibles, hit the button, the top just comes up, you know, automatically latches, you're all said and done. But watching Mark put the top down and put the top up, I kind of got the feeling like if you own this car, after you do it a few times, it's really not an issue. So maybe I'm making a mountain out of a molehill there. And then the second thing is the sound of the exhaust on the standard and the standard exhaust. It just doesn't sound that good. I mean, Porsches in general, you know, any of you guys have been with Porsches for a while, you know that their exhausts are getting more and more muted with particulate filters and just all the other emissions things that they have to add to the cars. This particular one, Mark's car, he did have a Soul Performance over axle exhaust on this car, and I'll put a link in the description below for that. So this one did sound pretty good, and Mark recently told me that he's actually going to put in the JCR titanium race exhaust, which is silenced and catted, and that'll even sound better, I think, than the Soul Performance. So I'm gonna have to, I want to catch up with Mark again. I want to hear this once he puts that exhaust on the car. Please subscribe to this channel if you are passionate about performance cars, want to better your driving skills, want to learn about new cars from an unbiased reviewer, are interested in car modifications and gear.